Mate, this
I
is...
actually, mate, the people. Oh man, when people watch this, like I feel like I got to defend myself. The hands I brought, this isn't representative of my game.
Yeah. Okay, so today, guys, we are back with another episode of Punt or No Punt. Look who he is! Can you believe it? It's Benjamin Raven, BenaBadBeat. How you doing, lad?
Good, mate. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a long time coming.
It's an honour. It's been a while, I have to say.
Yeah.
What have you got to say for yourself?
I just want to set the record straight because I've been wanting to come on the channel for about a year, and Nick keeps saying that he won't let a losing player come on the channel because it actually means that people won't view. The shots.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I went through a very rough period at high stakes, decided that I didn't want to show my face, and now I've decided to telegraph it to everyone.
Yeah. Well, I'm super glad that you did. I know that it's not because you're my friend. I know that it's because all you want to do is plug your new little channel. I know I thought I had exclusive rights to you. Now I've only got exclusive rights to Bean, but that's exactly how I like it. So joke's on you. Do you want to talk about your channel, Ben? Because it's newish and there's a chance that people haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say, really. I'm just I'm doing weekly videos. Goal is road back to high stakes. But to be honest with you, it's just a way of doing something a little bit interesting alongside grinding, because the grind can get pretty monotonous. So doing something a little bit more creative, even though I'm actually doing none of the creativity, is actually I'm enjoying it a lot so far, and people seem to be liking it, which is always a positive.
I love it.
Not getting as much hate as you do on your videos.
That would be difficult. Today we're playing Punt or No Punt. We are going to put this money into dollars, guys. Don't worry, I just haven't got around to it yet. There may be some hands from the time where you used to be able to compete at high stakes. Obviously, you can't do that now, which is the subject of your series.
This is the competition. You're going to see why I got knocked down back to 1K here, probably.
Perfect. Well, I'm very excited. Let's just touch on the rules quickly before we get into things. I know that you know them as a super fan of the series and the OG. Yeah. Guys who didn't know, I think it was 3 years ago now, we did our first episode of Punt or No Punt with BenaBadBeat. Yeah. Obviously, we did a few with Bean before, but Ben got this channel going. It's pretty much your channel, is it? From the beginning.
Can I just transfer your subs over to mine? Yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Hopefully this video will do that.
I don't think it'll be long until... Yeah, so guys, if you haven't already subscribed to me, then do so. If you're excited to have BenaBadBeat back, then... make sure you subscribe here and drop a like on the video. It really helps me out. But also go over to Ben. All of Ben's links will be in the description for his Instagram and his YouTube. So make sure you go and subscribe on there. The videos are excellent quality and you won't be disappointed. So go and do that now. And now it's the rules for Punt or No Punt. As I said, I know that you know them, Ben. But for anyone that doesn't know and is just here for Ben for the first time, the contestant today, it's Benjamin, will bring on 5 hands and I will decide whether they are a punt or not a punt. Disclaimer, as always, guys, I am not as good a player as Ben. I'm not as good a player as almost anyone these days, but certainly not as good as Ben. But I'm still going to make the decisions because it's my show and I don't care what you think. So if you're angry about that, please put it in the comments because that helps. Ben, are you happy that I've not seen these hands before?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Definitely you haven't seen them. And I'm actually so excited because the goal today is to actually put you in the bin in the spots, because they're brought hands that I'm hoping that you're pretty much, for the most part, going to have no idea what's going on. Beautiful. So you have to figure it out as you go. Yeah.
And it's 9 o'clock in the morning. The only person that's ever gotten me up earlier for a Punt or No Punt is Clancy. He got me up at 7:30. My mind was exploding because that guy, thankfully you're not as good as him. So I should be fine.
Yes, true.
And I've had a coffee. Anyway, we've got lots and lots of money to do off and Ace 4 of Hearts. Benjamin BadBeat, Raven. Are you ready to play Punt or No Punt?
Let's run it.
Let's do it. Okay, guys, hand number 1, Ace 4 of Hearts. And as I promised, into the dollars we go. I mean, that's a few dollars, isn't it? 9.5 bags.
There's going to be a few more in the middle by the end of the hand as well. I'm going to tell you now.
Ideal, I'd say. Kicking things off with this, you've chosen the order for the hands, so you know.
Yeah.
This is where we mean to. This is where we mean to go on. 9.5 bags. Let's begin. Let's see if you can put me in the bin. I'm going to 3 bets.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks good, Ben. So far, so good. I know you care about what I think.
I do. In this game, I do.
And we see King 5-4, and I wonder whether this is not a range bet. I honestly, I'm not going to bother you with just guessing around, so you can just tell me. I think this is either half pot or range bet. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean,
it depends. If you want to use small, you probably could get away with a range bet, but I think sizing up and then not betting range is probably the way to go about it.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll use half pot. Just to also want to say, a lot of these hands were up to a year ago, so maybe they might, yeah, exactly. They're from the vault, so maybe There will be some sizes that maybe we're not a fan of now, but yeah, I think half pot's good.
No, I'm sure we don't really care about that stuff anyway. It's all very small. And this hand fitting into half pot.
You tell me, mate. You're the one who's meant to be analysing the hand.
Well, I like having a 4. We're blocking 4s and 5-4, and we have an overcard, and we can make 2 pairs and sets and sets and trips. Sorry, 9 o'clock in the morning, guys. So I'm happy to bet. Cool. Most of the time.
I agree.
We get a call, which is not unreasonable, and the 9 of diamonds on the turn.
Yeah, our Manchio, by the way, is an aggro reg.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the same reasons that I don't mind the flop bet, I probably don't mind betting here on the turn as well. And this is a hand that I'm going to use 2e with. I'm going to just bet very large on this turn. Would you find that acceptable?
Sure. Yeah, definitely find that acceptable. I think we're like blocking some of the main value hands that Imposition can have, right?
Yeah.
Which are going to be 5-4 pocket 4s. Admittedly, pocket 4s is going to be kind of unusual. Not unusual, but like fairly low frequency. But this is ACR, so the rake is lower, and also we're deeper. Maybe some regs would see that as an excuse to defend more. Others would use it as an excuse to defend less. Okay. And then obviously the main one is we're blocking ace king as well. We do block ace 5, which isn't great because that is probably going to maybe fold or mix the turn. But like blocking ace king is huge here, given Imposition's pretty much never going to 4-bet ace king offsuit, or very rarely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on board with big barrel.
Yeah.
Seems good. I like it.
I think bigger could be better as
I'd
well.
bet bigger. I'd bet bigger. A little bit of 2e. Yeah. I got a button, so I don't have to,
Yeah.
Oh, 10 of spades. And I guess we just have to decide whether we're all... Well, it's here, so I imagine. I imagine...
You imagine there might be some money going in.
Yeah. Is there any argument for like betting anything other than all in here, Ben, would you say?
I definitely think there would be, yeah. I think we're going to be wanting to value bet hands like king, queen. That'll probably be the main bulk of the small bet range. I think there also might be some argument to betting small with king 10 as well, double blocking the calling range. I think Imposition may have some... I'm trying to think about the hand I'm talking about here.
It's not like aim for you.
Yeah. Well, no, because I don't think Imposition's going to be folding hands like ace 10 of clubs on the river versus block. So double blocking the calling range is not that important, I guess. But when you have a king naturally, Imposition's going to have way fewer hands to call. So like block and then calling an all-in king 10 makes more sense, for example.
Yeah. Okay. So this hand, how would you see it fitting into that sizing scheme?
Well, I think that the most important thing here is like forcing like the top end that aren't snap calls into indifference, right? And if we block, then any king just becomes like a fist pump snap because it probably value catches. I know like king jack probably is kind of... I mean, king jack, maybe we can still value bet king jack, but we have gone half pot and then 2/3 pot. So I don't really think small betting with our combo makes any sense. We just want to put max pressure on like the top portion of their non-snap call range, I would say. And that is going to be like hands like ace king, right? That is going to be more likely to snap call. We're obviously blocking that. And then 5-4 and pocket 4s as well. Obviously, they're just going to fold 7-6 anyway. So it doesn't really make much difference. But then there's going to be some hands we lose to, like 5-6, for example, which is definitely going to be calling the turn, even without a flush draw. And then there might be some argument as well that Imposition may fold some, I don't know, jack 10 of clubs, queen 10 of clubs. Again, I don't actually know if that's happening, but
are they not just folding that? I've never called in this spot in my life for jack 10 of clubs, let alone for 6 bags.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, with jack 10 of clubs is that like you do unblock some of the bluffs because I'm never going to be bluffing a hand with the jack of clubs. And also, if you're blocking those hands, then that's obviously really beneficial. And it just allows me to have more of these kind of like ace 3, ace 4 type hands that are going to then blast off. And then 7-6 as well. Is
there anything you'd rather... Well, I'm assuming if you could choose, there's something you'd rather have, but like... Is this prime bluffing for you, or like what do you think is like a better candidate, like that bets the turn, flop and turn?
Honestly, I would say that maybe I'm biased because I played the hand. I would say this is actually arguably the actual number 1 best bluffing combo in the range.
I was thinking that because I just can't think of anything you're going to bet twice that it's going to have like relevant blockers. Maybe queen 10, but like you don't.
Sure.
You just check that right on the river. So I think this is good. Should we put lots of money in? Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I'm gonna go with no punt, Ben, to kick things off.
We love it.
This is only hand number 1, so I'm reliably
easiest hand
informed
starts at the beginning.
they ramp up. But yeah, I like this. I mean, I like how much money's gone in. That's number 1. And I just can't see what else. I mean, we've got block ace king, block 5-4, block pocket 4s when it exists. I can't really see why this could be overly bad.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
We'll
no
take
punt.
it.
What about the financial situation? Because we still have to get this through in reality, and we do get it through, which is
Rare.
ideal. Do you remember how if there was a tank on this one? This is ideal.
Can't remember. No, I can't remember.
Okay.
No,
Well,
afraid not.
Well, we'll take that down. You'll add about 3 bags to your stack, up to 12.5k.
Yeah.
Those were the days, hey,
Not
man.
Yes,
You sit with
they
about
were.
10% of that, don't you? Right.
Yeah.
That's ace for out the way. You're up 1-0, and we're going to go on to hand number 2. Okay, guys, we're ramping up the pressure. We've got $5,000 in front of us and 7-3 offsuit. Who's excited? Let's do this. So we're up 1-0. And
I'd forgotten about this hand.
we've got 7-3 off. Perfect. I know you've been up all night looking for hands,
Yeah.
so it's an anti-game.
Yeah.
Which changes things in a way that I do not know whatsoever. And it falls to this, we're blind on blind, and we get a limp.
Yeah.
Okay, so nothing pre-flop punty. That's fine.
No, luckily. This is Cole Swannock, who is a reg on the tighter side. Very high stakes reg.
Okay, and we check our option with 7-3 off, and it comes 10-6-4
Gut shot.
rainbow gut shot.
Yeah,
and
huge gut shot.
we get a bet.
Yeah.
So we can't fold. Do you give any nods to raising here, or would you just rock to call?
There are several nods to raising. But like, I think the reason that we're nodding towards raising at least some of the time is that like we just have 10-4 offsuit, 10-6 offsuit, 4-6 offsuit like a lot of the time. Whereas I just don't, even though it's an anti-table, like, and you should be limping a lot. I think maybe when you're 4-handed versus you're 6-handed, like if you're 6-handed, you're probably just going to limp range, assuming you're not playing any opens, or if you're mixing open and limp, I don't know. But when it's 4-handed, I don't think you just need to limp 10-4 offsuit. It depends how they perceive the way I'm going to play the big blind. But I would just say that we are just going to have more very good, like more 2 pairs on this board. There's going to be way more like overpair region and like good hands for out position. But we are going to like kind of, let's just say, make more nuts on this board, I would say.
Yeah. I guess that's why he sized up a little bit, and we are going to raise. Okay. I mean, I'm certainly not going to argue with this, so we'll let this go.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable to me. And we see a 3 on the turn, and Cole Swannock, is it?
Yeah.
Checks. And we're BenaBadBeat, and we have option.
We are BenaBadBeat.
So we have turned a pair.
We have a pair.
Does that make you more inclined to check, or is that a card that you think is relevant in terms of barreling, giving you more equity on multiple rivers?
It's obviously relevant because we now do fill up with deuce 5 and with 7-5, and we have a 7. My only concern is that it's kind of like a fake value combo, because we have we've improved on the turn, but we block like barely any extra hands. We do block 7-5 obviously, but like we don't block any of the flop continues. So when we raise and we get called, like now Cole can have a set, like 3 sets over pairs, some 2 pairs, the suited variety, and the 3 doesn't really change the value region. So it's like so different than if like I had a 4 here, for example, like 5-4, then I'd be blocking some of the flop value as well. So I think this is a bit of a red herring, turning a 3 here and then assuming it's kind of like improving our hand. It has quote unquote improved our hand, but like it hasn't really improved our like bluff. Our fold equity, I would say, like greatly.
Okay. Yeah. So See that make you want to check?
Yes, it does.
I'd naturally be overbet. Okay.
I think overbetting. Yeah, what are you going to overbet? You tell me.
No, if I'm going to bet, I'm going to bet this large. I think. I don't think you'd
So
now
my question. Go on.
want to bet a 10. I think.
Agreed.
Yeah. When you raise flop and get called.
My worry is that. Do we think that Cole has hands like 7-5 offsuit? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
That would limp in an anti-game. Like they're more likely 7-5 offsuit than 10-4 offsuit. Absolutely. And the other thing is that if that is the case, do we then get to size up? Like if we have a hand like 6-4 offsuit, for example, or a hand like 4-3 offsuit, or 10-6 offsuit. Does that mean we then get to overbet those hands or not? I don't know. I'm just asking.
So you reckon that maybe the abundance or perceived abundance of 7-5 offsuit means that we probably need to be more in the 2/3 region than overbet if we want to bet.
And I think that if this was like an open and then a defend, obviously I can't have 7-3 offsuit, but like this would make a lot more sense because the ranges are much more defined.
Yeah. So while we still have
10-4, I'm not a fan, basically.
10-6, 6-4, unfortunately we are not at enough of an advantage on the 3 in order to be overbetting. I would say that's fair. I don't think it's the end of the world, but like, I mean, maybe.
I don't know if that's true, by the way.
Yeah, no, we're guessing. Who knows? Cole might know. Yep. Cole might not know. Yeah. Cole calls, and the river is a king, and Cole checks. Yeah. Okay. So,
tell me what you think.
We've got 2x pot back, and do you sizing scheme here? Are you going to use 2/3 and all in? I imagine that makes a lot of sense. Like, if you were overbetting the turn, would you overbet 10-4, and then is that now worth just 2/3?
Good question.
I don't know if it's worth all in 10-4. Maybe it is. It's close, isn't it?
No, I think you're right. I think there's just going to be an argument for having 2/3 and then all in. The only problem is that because we hyperpolarize the turn, all of those hands now become like relatively like thin. Not thin, but like thinner.
Feel thin.
And if we had bet if we bet 2/3 in the turn, then it's such a clear 2/3 big bet spot. Assuming we're not splitting the turn.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely. So how do we feel about this hand? I mean, if we're gonna go all in, we want to have a 7, probably, which we have. But have we hamstrung ourselves on the turn? That's the question. Have we forced ourselves into a situation that we didn't want to be in, and now it's like, oh, I've got a 7. See you later. Yeah, it feels a little bit like that. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
We're all in.
Yeah, we have wagered it all. So. Okay, there are a few things I want to say. Yeah. So the first thing is when I check back the flop and pre-flop and then I raise the flop, I'm gonna have hands like Ace-5 blocking pocket aces. I'm gonna have 8-5. I'm gonna have some 3-5, and then I might even have some like random Queen-5 of hearts. Yeah. Maybe even like a Queen-7 of hearts. So I just have infinite bluffs to choose from here. Yeah. Not to mention when I have 7-3 offsuit. I'm still bombing the turn and shoving the river, which, by the way, I reckon the EV of check on the river is actually not bad at all. There's like, it's completely reasonable that I'm going to find Ace-5, Ace-9, Ace-8, Ace-Jack, Ace-Queen of clubs, like super, super reasonable. Yeah. I think this is, I think this is like a monumental overplay in hindsight. Like, it's such an overbluff. But my exploit reasons, or maybe my convincing of you that it's not an overbluff, is that this player is more fold happy than most of the other high stakes regs,
which matters a lot.
Which does matter a lot. So I thought that there was at least, I did think that I may be overbluffing, and in hindsight, I think this is like a complete fucking torch overbluff.
I don't think there's much doubt that you're overbluffing if you've got all those combos of 7-3 offsuit, and I mean, I imagine that you just went with this one, and you're probably going with the lot. Yeah. So like, I mean, it's probably hard to argue that you're not overbluffing, but it's much easier to argue that it doesn't matter against opponent. So I'm just gonna go with punt, just because look at it. Just look at the state of it.
It's a pretty sorry state of affairs. I won't lie.
I mean, you could check back and I don't know what the EV of that would be, but certainly non-bad. And then
to remember though, as Gazzy would say, it ain't spew if it gets through.
And that is exactly what Gazzy would say. I'll press the button then. Oh dear. So now, like, it does become a lot worse or better depending on what we get looked up by. Say if 10-9
yes, you are
calls.
right. So just remember the reads that I gave about this player liking to fold. Okay.
Yeah. So if we get called by like 10-9 offsuit, then I'm not a fan. If we get called by the set, then we don't care. 10 bags in the middle. I've got 7-3 offsuit dealer. Is that good? Oh my god. Oh no.
It's gone badly.
It's an utter disaster. And
they're called
quite a reasonable call, because they want to have that. If you're going to go all in, you're basically saying, well, I've got like 10-6 at least, or like 7-5 offsuit, or 5 deuce offsuit. And he does a great job of removing all of that, or maybe sixes that you check back. I don't know if you do. Yeah, I mean, disastrous read on opponent, complete disrespect, and punished in a appropriate manner.
Yeah, can't deny it. So what's your verdict then? You went punt, yeah?
Yeah, you did. I did go with punt. Yeah, I'm not sure if I actually expressed it explicitly, but definitely went with punt. I think that was obvious. Right, it's 1-1, Ben, which makes this a best of 3. Are you ready to take hand number 3?
I am.
Let's go. Okay, guys, hand number 3. We're at 1-1, and we've got Ace King, which is a great hand. I would go as far as to say better than 7-3 offsuit, but don't quote me on that. It goes open from cutoff, button 3 bets, and we have a pretty standard cold 4 bet in the big blind.
Well, what sizing would Yuri make it? I'm sorry, Yuri. I made it too small.
I don't know what size Yuri would make it. I'm not going to lie. But Isn't this just like completely mini?
Yeah, absolutely mini phone. Terrible cold 4-bet sizing.
Yeah, because it's in dollars though. Like I can't really. I'm horrendous at like converting it into big blind. How many big blinds is this?
I know.
This is with 20 big blinds. So yeah, it's quite small, isn't it? 17 bigs.
17 big blinds from over 7.
Yeah, that's absolute mini phone.
It's disgusting.
It's microscopic, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, it's bad. This was a year ago though, so give me a break.
All right. I mean, you're playing for lots of money, mate. You should probably sort it out.
It's true.
Bez Limitless is like, okay, well, I'll just call my whole range. And they do. And we're off to 10-3-8 rainbow. And we have I don't actually know anything about cold 4-bet pots. But I imagine what I would do here is size up. I wouldn't bet small. I would bet like 40.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be using 50%, and I think my hand makes a pretty good bet, at least some of the time.
Yeah, I'm on board entirely. Nothing I would want to say about this at all.
Yeah, okay.
And we see call, which is not unusual whatsoever. Obviously, we're sizing up because our opponent has chunky of continues. And we see a 3 on the turn. An excellent card for our range, has to be said.
Agreed. Yeah.
And ace king, like, it's pretty reasonable in many respects because, like, I mean, maybe not kings, but certainly aces they would call in this spot pre-flop.
Yeah.
So having an ace seems pretty good. Do you expect what kind of jamming range do you expect in this cold 4-bet situation, like pre-flop?
Well, we're 150 big blinds deep, right?
Oh, so no jams.
Well, there will be some, but like there's going to be some clicks and then might be some shoves, and it's going to be like good hands, of course, like aces and kings and stuff. I mean, maybe there'll be a little ace 5 in there, who knows?
Yeah.
But I do think aces will be in there a decent amount, and kings as well. But I think some of them are going to click. You have to also remember I 4-bet so fucking small that they are probably even more incentivized because like technically the linearity of my 4-bet should go up the smaller I make it.
Yeah.
So like you're just less incentivized to call versus the 4-bet with pocket kings, right?
Yeah.
You might even want to 5-bet queens, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. Which makes it maybe less likely that our king or ace is as relevant as it could have been if you'd made it a proper sizing. But nonetheless, it's an excellent card for our range. I mean, how often do you think our range will bet this turn? Maybe like often as fuck?
Fairly often. Yeah, very, fairly often we're going to have an unbelievably good range here. Admittedly, imposition isn't really going to get to call the flop with like, let's say a hand like king, queen of diamonds, even though maybe verse half, but they won't. Whereas we might have it sometimes. Yeah. It depends whether or not you want to range bet this flop or not. But yeah, I think imposition is fairly defined here. And then they're going to obviously have like pocket 7s and 8-7 and 10-9 and jack 10 and stuff like that.
How much of that do you expect to? I mean, I guess we're going small on the turn. How much do you I don't think they're going to be doing much folding on this turn, like generally. But
no, I think they are going to do a reasonable amount. You have to remember that now the 3 has come, they're like live 5 out 2 pair. It doesn't exist anymore. So like my overpairs are going to be like have been massively upgraded. But like the sizing is also not going to be small. I'm going to be using at least half pot on the turn because like we just have such an insane equity push here. We have so huge advantage at the top end of the range, and therefore we can just kind of punish that. But also like if we have bet the flop every single time with our range, then obviously we're not really going to be just piling, given that the imposition is filtered and we're not.
Yep. You do decide to check though.
I do check.
Are you happy with that in hindsight? Because it sounded like you wanted to bet.
Well, I mean, I've got other hands I can bet as well. I've got ace jack, got ace queen, or even got king queen. Like I've got plenty of hands that I can barrel. Like I'm not going to be betting all of my ace king. And if I am going to be betting an ace king, maybe I'm going to be using some other suits, maybe like ace king of diamonds a bit more frequently, unblocking some of the backdoor floats. And also I'd probably like to bet if I had a 3 blocker as well.
Okay. Yeah. So like ace of hearts, king, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think they have ace 3 here? I guess because
I do think they do.
Yeah, because you microscopic to the pre-flop
even against a normal call forward sizing, ace 3 is going to be in there sometimes.
And we see a bet. I'm trying to think what exactly they'd want to reopen with here in terms of like, would they reopen a 10? Probably like, pocket 9s. Maybe that's a little bit optimistic. So maybe the bottom's like a 10. Do you think that's fair?
I think all the hands you've mentioned are completely reasonable for imposition to start betting.
Okay.
Because I perceive to somewhat fast play this turn with good hands or just with my range.
Mm-hmm.
When I do check, I don't know if this is going to be like an overfolded spot for me, for overpopulation, or no, not that's the wrong way to say it. I don't think this is going to be an overfolded spot in theory, but I do think that population is going to stab here pretty often, and the OOP are going to be quite check fold oriented here.
Yeah, I think that's fair because I think a lot of general people see this turn card and they're like, "Oh, great, this is amazing. I've got nut, so I bet." And
that's why you have to check aces and kings here sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, completely okay with that. Now, just briefly, do we have any check jams here? We would want to jam anything.
I think this board is way too dry to want to play check shoves.
Yeah.
You might, because like pocket jacks here is like, what are you shoving for? You're just like pretty much only ever getting called by better and never worse. So like I would just play no shoves.
Well, if they had like ace 10, would they bet fold here?
No way. Blocking aces and blocking tens. No way.
So jacks isn't as disastrous as that, surely.
If they bet call ace 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be one combo in the range that's gonna be discounted, right? So it's like whatever.
Okay, whatever it is. No jams, and our hand probably can't because we've got absolute nut pair draw. We're probably never folding to this size, so we just call, right?
I'm waiting, mate. Waiting for you to click the button.
Oh my god, we've clicked. So no jam, but click. Okay, that makes sense. Because jam's just huge.
Why does it make sense?
Well, it makes sense rather than... because I was thinking, when I said, oh, do we have any jams here? I was thinking what I meant was really, do we have any raise? But then, because we're in dollars, I'm all over the place. Because it's not in big blinds. So if it's in big blinds, I might have picked up that it was too big, but I didn't. So
yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
We do click, which looks interesting. I'm very glad it's happened. I love this show. So obviously, like you're saying, yeah, I'm checking this turn with kings and aces, and you're betting lots of 10x, maybe pocket nines. You just think I'm overfolding. I'm punishing that. So have this in your eye.
Well, yeah, effectively, like I think it's very uncomfortable to do this for starters. It's very, very comfortable as in position to start stabbing quite frivolously. And I think that like it's fair. They can probably even do it with like, it's like not unreasonable to think that they're going to do this with like pocket sevens or, as you said, 8x, 8-7 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that like the other thing is that, as I said before, you have to be finding these turn checks with aces and kings. And I know for a fact that I definitely will be finding those checks. Yeah. So it's one of those spots where like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be shoving the turn, but like by using this sizing, I get to leverage the fact that I do have aces and kings, and then I'm also obviously able to start bluffing. My only like small concern here is that like my combo with the ace of diamonds isn't really amazing because it doesn't block ace 3. However, it does unblock the ace high flush draws, backdoor flush draws on the flop. So it kind of goes both ways. It's like a negative blocker in the 3x sense, and then it's a positive blocker, which you may argue is like it weights to overall a positive blocker. And the other thing to mention is that I think population not only overstabs in position here, but when they have a hand like pocket jacks or pocket queens, and bear in mind we're 150 deep, and you get check min raised on the turn and then shoved on the river. Obviously my plan is to shove the river very often on Badoogie board, on certain rivers anyway. I think in position will in population will massively overfold, like overpairs in this node for sure, because it's like so rare to see people bluffing this spot as the cold 4 better.
Yep, I couldn't agree more with anything you said. King of clubs, would you rather have a different king? Don't think it matters for the king 10?
I mean, ideally I would, but like
doesn't matter.
You can't have everything.
Yeah. Much more to be gleaned from the fact that you just think this is going to be under defended overall because it's so uncomfortable in these spots, in these positions.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm actually almost in love, I would say. And if you're going to use a hand, ace king makes the most sense because you can't really have any draw. So this is like our best draw, like our best like non-made hand that we could use, because on a king and ace we're just absolute nutfest. So yeah,
and unblocking queens, which is potentially going to call fold, is huge.
Yeah. And we have decent equity against queens as well, so not decent, but like non-zero. We like non-zero. Rivers are 9, not ideal. No, not the best. Would there be, so obviously that we know, as we've discussed, there's probably pocket nines in there. Do you think they just boat mine turn with pocket nines, or do you think they just mark?
My thinking in game is that they would fold nines always on the turn.
Yeah,
I think they
it's
just
fair.
do always fold pocket pairs that are under the 10 on the turn. I think that they will call 10-9 and Jack 10 though.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're pocket nines.
Then they don't have Queen Jack, so I mean this is fine. This river, I guess. I don't see any reason to not execute the plan.
Sure. I've since looked at the sim, by the way, in this hand, and pocket nines does call the turn in the sim.
Okay. Well, Bez has got to find that in
I
game.
didn't think that.
We're in the streets anyway, so like, who cares?
we definitely are.
And I'm sure that the sim doesn't 4-bet to 10p, so.
It's true. It's true.
So we're all in, and
yeah,
I just kind of am in love. I think I am just going to give this as a no punt.
I'm surprised. I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, I'm going to give this as no punt.
Very surprised.
I just can imagine myself being Bez right here and just wanting to die. So, like...
Yeah.
And in
what
case...
If you have a boat?
Well, I probably wouldn't want to die if I had a boat, but I'm pretty excited about this. I do think that Jacks and Queens is just like, well, I just don't win. Or like Ace 10 is just like, well, I just don't win.
They have such good odds, though, man.
They do have good odds, but like that makes... Like a lot of people these days thinking, this has just got to be so underbluffed. Like, how underbluffed is this? Like, it's just in the most insanely underbluffed spot ever. So, like,
for sure.
How often are you going to find someone min-raising this turn and jamming river as a bluff, like for 10p on the river? Like, I just don't think you find it very often.
True.
So for those reasons, I am going to go with no punt. Points for creativity.
Take those. This is a sick hand. This is probably one of the sickest hands I played actually in a long time.
Can we get it through Buggy? Is the question. Oh, it's deserved. It's deserved.
It is so enjoyable. Because the thing is this is you know for certain that they have a good hand.
Yeah.
Because like there's no draws, like there's nothing. Like they just have to have a good hand. I guess there's a very small chance they could have ace king as well, maybe on the off chance, but
I mean, and the fact that we're all in for this much, it just means that it doesn't have to work that often. And if it works a little bit too often, then we just absolutely print. Like non-stop print. So, no punt, Ben. An incredibly creative and enjoyable hand. But I'm starting to see why you may have fallen from the heady heights of high stakes.
Fuck's sake.
It doesn't mean you lose here, though. 2-1 to you. As we're going to take hand number 4. Okay, guys. We are in the weeds today as we take hand number 4, which is ace 4 of clubs. And we've got bags again. Absolute bags. Whenever you see a lot of money in front of you guys, just remember that means that these hands are from a little while ago, because obviously Ben can't afford this anymore. So
for fuck's sake. How is the 10NL challenge going?
$820. $820.
Okay.
I've actually recently made a playlist, like hype playlist, to like get me through it as well. I'm really, really dead set on completing it this year. Anyway, enough about me. This is about you. This is a safe space for me. We do get a 3-bet, which we don't mind, and we are going to be mixing. Is this all 3 or just call and 4-bet?
Call and 4-bet.
Call and 4-bet. Frequencies, whatever you want. We do call. Okay. And we go to a flop of 8-5 king rainbow, which we have some very speculative equity on.
What do you mean? Backdoor nuts, mate?
Yeah, backdoor nut. Yeah. So, I mean,
speculative.
It's speculative for me because I've never hit anything in my life.
Yeah, okay.
So 5 of clubs means we just call, right? I don't think we want to raise and then it's just calling, right?
So there are going to be no raises in theory here, I don't think. Well, I guess we should just call them excuses at this point. The excuse is that our position was hyper aggressive, reg, and very, very, very c-bet heavy. And also you're going to be generally raising a bit more versus small sizes. This is 25%, right?
Yeah.
Than you are versus like big bets. And so basically this board won't get raised, but opponent, hand, and also the amount that this player c-bet I decide to raise sometimes.
Yeah. I mean,
by the way, I don't think he gets called this ever. By the way, you have to just fold MP versus small blind.
Well, that's what I was suggesting. It's like it's too that's why I was going speculative X in, and you were like nut. So I would have. Folded.
No, yeah, I know, but okay, you'd maybe save some money here. Then.
So we are going to go for a raise, and obviously, even if in theory, if they're doing things way too often, then it's going to skew that massively. So it's irrelevant. So we can't really look at that. So we're in the streets. And it's
not really irrelevant. It's still very, very, very sus what I've done here. Yeah. Let's like not like
Yeah, but
say it how it is.
I can't punt you. Like if you're saying they c-bet too often, they c-bet too often. It's what it is. We do get called. We're looking for some hope, I would say, on the turn. I mean, it's somewhat hopeful. I was wondering whether on a club you would do like a lot of checking.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, but this one is kind of like I don't really care if I have to bet fold. It's not like I've got all the equity in the world. Don't even love the 3 of hearts. Like, oh, you do love the 3 of hearts, but it's not like it's only 3 clean outs as opposed to many more if the turns are club. So would you say that this is a fine hand to go and bet fold?
Well, to be honest with you, on the 2 of clubs, like I don't know how much check shoves you're going to get from out of position when you do bet the turn, especially when you're deep. But I mean, like, yeah, I think regardless, like I'm more likely to check on a club than I am on a deuce of hearts. So make of that what you will. And like my hand just does such a good job of blocking the check shoves, right? Ace, king, and ace is going to be 2 of the first hands that they're going to shove. 4 of clubs is like completely uninteractive with their range. So like it's conceivable that we can just like find like a 7-6 of diamonds here that's just going to bet call the flop and then just check fold the turn, right?
Yeah. Is our sizing just very large here? I can't.
Well, like, yeah, definitely not small.
Yeah.
And by small, I mean 1/3, but definitely I think there's probably arguments to going all sizes here. Yeah, 2e, 50, pot maybe if you wanted to. Actually, I wouldn't go pot. I like 50 or 2/3. Yeah.
As long as it's not small, I think we agree. And we do go for about 2/3 pot, which, you know, half pot. It's about 2/3 half pot, whatever. It's a bit more than half pot. And I can't argue with this yet. We do get called, which is unfortunate. We do have decent removal to the very best call downs. Oh, and the river's the Queen of Hearts. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the Queen of Hearts, Ben.
What would you like to know?
Well, I'd like to.
I've been left with my cock in hand and ace high. If that's what you wanted to know.
Yeah, I know that, but this is probably not the river you'd have chosen. Is my point.
No, probably not. No. But I mean, like, so my thinking here in game was that out of position just doesn't really have any flushes apart from ace 5 of hearts. They just don't bet call the flop with ace 10 of hearts, ace jack of hearts, I don't think, and they don't have ace 8 of hearts. So their nut flushes are going to be few and far between. You could make similar arguments for me as in position here. I know I have got ace 4 of clubs, but we just did discuss that maybe we're going to be more likely to check hearts back.
Yeah.
So that probably suggests that there's like a bit of a symmetry or maybe a slight asymmetry in the nut flushes that we can have a few, let's just say like a couple of combos more, 1 combo more, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is that OP can obviously have ace king with a heart and pocket aces with a heart, and those are going to be like the premium bluff catchers. Yeah,
because their single heart hands become absolute nut because we don't have any single heart bluffs really, do we, that make it to the river? So it's much better for them.
None.
So it's much better for them to have a heart that doesn't block any bluffs. It's much better to have a heart that blocks our, you know, whatever flushes we might have than it is to unblock any potential bluffs because they don't exist. So
absolutely. And then the last thing I would say is that we do block pocket aces with a heart. So like that's like important. Like I think that if, I don't know, let's just say we had a hand like 6-5, I would say it's hard to say really. I don't know if I'd rather bluff 6-5 and then unblock the combos of like ace king off with no heart, or whether or not I'd rather have my combo. I can't really. I don't know for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think.
Maybe I just check about the river anyway though.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I hate this now as played, but I just don't think we needed to be here. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I completely wholeheartedly agree.
It's almost like, like I could give this as no punt, but that would be like completely ignoring the fact that we just were like, flop raise. I think that's probably a little bit too much. And now we're here and it's like, this makes a lot of sense. But do we need to be here, cock in hand, 4.5 bags thrusted into the middle? I just don't think that we did. So I'm gonna go with punt, although I have a lot of time for the now. I wouldn't want to check back now that I'm here for sure.
Sure, okay.
But I wouldn't want to be here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and I agree with everything you said.
Okay, fair enough then. 2-2. It doesn't mean that it doesn't get through. Ain't spew and all that.
Yep.
Oh, Okay, well now this is my favorite part. How bad is it in practice?
Yeah.
To see what we get called by. If we get called by ace king, it's like, okay, we got called by ace king. Okay, well, we got called by king queen. 15 bags, bro. Did you not want those?
Yeah. This was the demise, mate. You're watching the demise in real time.
Oh my goodness. You just love bluffing stacks off, don't you?
Well, I have chosen a hand that I bluffed, so yes.
Yeah. I mean, I have time for it. Obviously, when you say stuff like, it's kind of harsh in a way, because when you say stuff like this overseas betting, like obviously they can still have king queen and ace king, like it's still possible for them to have those things, and you happen to have run into it this time and then brought the hand along. It's very credible that they could have just had something like that bet folded the flop, like ace jack, and you're just doing really, really well.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I do think this is the worst played hand out of all of them, I would say. So I feel correct. I've been correctly punished in this hand, is what I would say.
Yeah. So what we're seeing is you're making some dangerous assumptions about opponents, and they're not paying off. Fault. Yeah. So
I definitely have been called. I bluffed off way more stacks than I've been called, and I've been called in quite a few stacks as well, probably.
Yeah, it's not a good recipe, mate.
No. What's the score now?
2-2 going into the last hand. Just how I like
it. Here we go.
Pete thinks it's rigged, but I think these scores are actually fair. I actually think these scores are pretty fair. Our last hand is pretty special. I asked for a specific hand. Ben's been holding a hand for me in what we lovingly call Gringotts, and his vault key is with the gnomes, or whatever you call them. He's never letting me see that hand. Guys,
no,
look,
it's not coming out.
Go and sub to BenaBadBeat on YouTube, and then write in all of his comments that you want to see this hand, because he said he's never going to show it to anybody. But what we do have is a very special, I'm reliably informed, very special hand number 5, which I'm ready to take if you are, Ben.
Let's do it.
It's our final hand, guys. It's 2-2 in punt, no punt, just how everyone likes it, and we have got absolute bags on the table. Almost 12 bags on the table. And we are on the button, 3-handed battling.
Yeah, so the small blind was a new player, had no real reads on them. I suspected that they might be some kind of... They were definitely not a recreational, but they were some kind of reg. They seemed like a thing, a thing.
Mm-hmm. They're a thing, guys. We get 3-bet to 10 big blinds, which looks pretty fine. And we just have a call.
Yep.
Nothing untoward so far, Ben. I'm hoping for untowardness as we move into the flop. Which is ace jack 4, and they have what I believe would be just a very normal range bet. And you have options.
I do have options.
Would you like to talk about them?
20% on the flop. Yeah, they bet less than 20% on the flop. Obviously, can't be folding our hand. And generally, our raises are also going to come from like the very low pocket pairs with quite clean outs. And then maybe some bottom pair as well. So I think both calling and raising are pretty good options here.
Yeah. I know you like raising this kind of hand. I've seen you do it a lot. And whenever I brought hands to like talk to you about, you're always like, oh, we can do some raising here. So I figured you might say that. We do raise this time, and I'm okay with it. We are in the streets, but we got the backdoor wheel. We got a clean set out, the cleanest set out.
The cleanest.
So it makes a lot of sense to me. I'm happy with it.
Yeah. And just to add, like, we should really expect to see quite a number of 3-bets from the small blind. And like, that's even going to include hands like King Jack and Queen Jack.
Yeah.
Because like they're bet so small and we've raised. So like, I think that when they don't 3-bet the flop, I know it's a new player. It's hard to make the assumption that they because this easily could just be like a reg who just doesn't 3-bet the flop in this spot. So we can't read too much into like how strong their range is here, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And they're going to do a lot of calling. All of their gut shots are going to call ace X, jack X. Like, it's not going to get
queens, kings.
Yeah. We'll eliminate obviously some things like 10-9, but mostly we'll see call. Ooh. Okay. 10 of clubs.
Such a bad.
This is a horrendous card. And they check. Is it not time to shut things down?
You might think that. Give me your reasons for shutting it down, mate.
Well, it just slaps them in the face, doesn't it? We've discussed that their gut shots will call flop. King Queen will be there. Jack 10 will be there. Ace 10 will be there. Pocket 10s won't be, but in general, it's just a much better card for them. I would say. They make a lot of 2 pairs and they make a lot of straights, and that's just not a good thing overall. The only thing I would say is like, where do our bluffs come from if we don't choose this? And that would be probably the only point I'd have in your favor. Do you want to make any more?
The only point having my favor, great. Well, I mean, we do have some other pocket pairs. Obviously, we're going to be raising, and also we can have some king queen as well ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's reasonable we can have some king queen, so we can clean up some equity versus like the bet folds from like I don't know, like 6-5 suited, for example, when we raise king queen on the flop. So we are gonna like. I don't think the fact that OOP has king queen here is good enough reason for us never to bet, because we do certainly have king queen and still like ace jack and pocket fours or ace four, or if we raise ace 10, these are all like perfectly reasonable to bet the turn with. So my sizing scheme on the turn, I think like in theory should be like around like 40%, something like that.
Yeah.
But again, this was like over a year ago, and I think I probably went for more of like back then I was going for more of like when I raised the flop, going smaller on the turn.
Yeah.
The one thing that is really, really, really negative is that we double block ace 5 suited, which I think maybe hands that OOP is now going to be check folding.
Yeah.
Maybe not, depending on the sizing that we choose. But I would think that the other combos, or one of the combos with the heart, would be better. Obviously, like if they do call all ace 5, then this is going to be a better bluff than the other combos. But I have a feeling that they're going to be folding some of those.
I can't imagine them being happy on the turn. It just seems very...
No, I know, but when you block in position on the turn here, like what are you going to do with? You have to call top pair.
Yeah. So we do go for a bet.
What sizing is this?
This is a third pot ish, just under third,
it's a bit
like
bigger.
27.
It's actually, is this for? Yeah. Okay.
Is it not 27, or am I stupid? No, it's 30 something, 35. Have you just made this up?
Yeah. No, it's like block sizing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I'm too tired to figure out sizes without big blinds, I'll tell you that much. And so we've already discussed the merits of doing this and the demerits of doing it. We do get
when he calls, what do you think he's got? What do you think his range looks like?
It's going to be ace king, ace queen, king jack, queen jack, aces, jacks, jack 10, ace 10. Yeah, good hands, mate. Decent hands.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then like what, maybe like ace 9 will fold. Like, I don't know, like they have so many good hands, it almost just feels like they don't even need to peel like ace 8. But like,
yeah, I feel you.
But like,
it's one
they probably do. Yeah. They really need to if we're doing what we're doing for the river situation. Jack on the river. I mean, this is just a disaster, is it not? Do we have any? Do we even have a jack? Like we have ace jack, but like sometimes we 4-bet.
We do.
Ace jack offsuit. So I guess the fact that it's a heart is better than if it was a spade, because then we have a little bit more ace jack, because we don't 4-bet the ace jack suited, do we, in these positions?
No.
So that much is the most I can do, but this is just like surely just a complete disaster of a card for us, Ben.
Yep. What do you want? What do you want from me? What are you expecting from me? I told you I was bringing the ammunition today. Also, your comment, the people watching this are going to be like, wait a second. So there's a hand that he won't show any soul on the planet. He's showing this one.
Oh my god.
So I think in hindsight, I think that I have a range check on the river. Well, not range check. Obviously, I'm going to shove boats, but like I'm pretty much like, because I think correctly identified OOP's range to be extremely ace king, ace queen, queen jack, king jack heavy, which I think is a very, very fair assumption. And then also now we are definitely blocking some folds from the ace 5 of diamonds and ace 5 of clubs that maybe now does arrive and then fold. My thinking here was that
you were thinking
I was thinking we have 0 showdown, which is like one very small aspect.
Certainly true.
But the main thing, so it's certainly true, is that I think that OOP folds some jacks on the turn, because I don't know who they are. I think it's reasonable to assume that like versus the flop raise and turn barrel, that they may fold some queen jack and some king jack on the turn.
You bet very small, and then though. They have gut shot and
I did, but I think that there is going to be a universe where people are starting to fold jacks on the turn.
Would you say that your assumptions have been mostly correct or incorrect today?
I would say half and half. Depends on this one. It kind of the balance is in this hand, I would say. It's in the balance. And then the other thing is that I think that an unknown reg is going to overfold ace king and ace queen on the river, because the other thing is, like, similar to the ace king hand. When have you seen somebody bluff this spot?
Yeah, but what do you have? Like, what do you even have?
Yeah. Ace jack, king queen, pocket fours.
Okay.
Like, that's just very my value region is just extremely obvious.
Yeah, but like that's not very many hands, is it?
No, it's not very many hands.
You don't always
like,
raise king queen on flop. Obviously.
Yeah, but then okay, if we don't have many value hands, then I have to find some bluffs, right? So what are my bluffs going to be?
Do you have to find, like? Do we know? Do it like? I know you love this stuff, but like, is this not just like horrendously underfolded? You need them to fold ace queen. They have to fold ace queen.
Yeah, I do. And also, like, there's one other combo, which is ace 10 as well, that probably does something on the river that might fold.
It would certainly do something.
I'm clutching. I brought this hand. I'm clutching. Please.
We can't bet 2/3 pot because we don't bet ace queen. So we just have to be all in.
Yeah.
And we are all in. I mean, what on earth is this?
Are you telling me you've never shoved 8.4k with absolutely nothing?
I've never had 8.4k before, let alone shove for it. Mate, this is...
actually, mate, the people, oh man, when people watch this, like I feel like I got to defend myself. The hands I brought, this isn't representative of my game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you want people to think that it is, and then just go and start playing.
To be honest,
maybe get back to high stakes.
Genuinely.
You'd have to start playing properly though. If you kept doing this, it would not go well for you. Look,
yeah, hence where I am.
It doesn't mean that we don't get it through. The biggest problem I have with this is that it just seems like that there's so few hands that are gonna fold, and you know, if they do fold like ace 5 that we block on the turn, if they do fold like ace 8 on the turn, then they have nothing, like really like barely anything here that's gonna fold the river. Even if we do need to find bluffs, which I know that we do, and I don't find fucking any, but
well, we are shoving pot. It's not like they can just go like flick it in with ace queen every time here, right?
No,
they've got so many other hands in their range. So if they have folded some jacks as well on the turn.
Yeah, but what I don't love is trying to get people to fold really good hands. I don't like people I'm
not trying to get them to fold good hands. I'm trying to get them to fold the indifferent portions of their range and maybe overfold them. Okay. Mate, obviously, I can't bet any good hand here is a boat or a straight, and they're not folding.
Let's just take a screenshot of this situation, and you know, I just can't give it. It has to be a punt, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I just can't see how this cannot be a punt. I know you've tried. You have fought for you. You fought really hard, and there was a point where I was like, "What else are we bluffing here? Like, what are we bluffing here if we don't bluff this?" Like.
I think we're probably just bluffing like pocket 3s and pocket 2s. Like,
yeah.
I do think the bluffs come from pocket pairs, but I think double blocking the ace 5 suited is really bad. And then also like letting him have more of like the ace 4 and stuff like that now fold as well is just like the best way to approach the spot. Bluff deuces and 3s always, and just don't bluff 5s.
What about king 10 or queen 10?
No, I probably won't. I think I'm blocking the fold if I use that combo, like ace 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, how about we just don't do this? That seems good.
Yeah.
Road back to high stakes. Sure. Stop doing this, and we'll probably be fine.
Yeah, literally.
Right, guys. Look, there's a chance that we get this through. I don't know. I haven't looked in the top corner of my screen. You can't see it, but I haven't looked once in the top corner of my screen. This is a complete surprise to me. I do not know what's going to happen here. I cannot believe that you've got that through.
I know, it's unbelievable.
Do you remember how long they took to tank? Was it uncomfortable?
I think they snap folded.
Snap fold? They snap folded what?
I think they snap folded. But I mean, I can't remember for sure, but I think they did. I think like ace queen probably. Ace king. What the hell else are you going to do with ace king here? Like, what do you mean? Like, let's just look at this objectively. If no cards were shown, why would you call ace king? Like, if like someone calls ace king and then just posts the hand history here, everyone's like, you're a whale. Why have you torched off?
Yeah.
Unless they're pocket 5s.
This is true. I mean, look, I've got the utmost respect for it. I just don't think I could. I don't think it's within my parameters to not give this as a punt. I just don't think my brain's. I don't think my brain is functioning on a level where I can actually. I'm very pleased with the result. It's absolutely sensational result.
Not bad.
And we take it down. Look at that.
Doomburger.
Hero indeed. You've lost though. Overall, unfortunately.
And financially.
Probably, yeah. Well, here financially is okay. Probably a deserved loss. We'll go into a little brief summary before we leave today. So that's it, guys. Fuck you.
Sorry.
So that's it, guys. BenaBadBeat came back for Punt or No Punt and did not disappoint anybody, especially not me. And as we like to do at the end of a Punt or No Punt, usually the money goes to the other player. But today it goes over to BenaBadBeat, who sits on a big pile of $15,000. Fully deserved for the heart and the commitment. You have lost 2-3, though, overall. How do you feel about the result? Fair result?
Definitely fair. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, actually. I actually realised I actually played a couple of his hands quite well. So yeah, I thought they were worse than they were. And then I saw it played a couple of hands that were as bad as I thought they were.
Yeah.
I.e. this one.
I think Ace 4 and Ace King were excellent, I have to say.
Central plays.
They were very, very, very nice. This one, I'm a huge fan of the result, less of a fan of the selection. And and the other two, I think, well, I just don't think they were very good. So yeah, I think this is a fair. I think it could have gone either way. If I'd looked at results first, I'd have given you this one, obviously, because I love money and I love winning. But you do lose, and that's going to do it, mate. It's been a pleasure. I hope we can do something again soon. I know you're back in the UK next week, so I'll at least be, doing things sexually to you. But maybe,
can't wait, mate. It's been too long.
It has been a while. So maybe we can find another video. So maybe you can look at my horrendous form this year at some point and do some hand review with me. That'd be cool.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
So if you want to see that, guys, drop a like on the video. And also, if you want to see that, make sure you go and subscribe to BenaBadBeat on YouTube. He does weekly videos on a Thursday, unless it's a Friday, and talks about his road back to high stakes. He's playing penny stakes now. I think it's like 1K or 2K or something, Ben. Is that all?
Yeah. Mate.
Yeah. So if you do want to see his grind back, I thoroughly recommend the videos. They are excellent. Probably the best content on YouTube poker. Full stop right now. You know how I feel about Ben, guys. I know it's a bit biased, but just watch it and trust me.
Very, very biased.
But that's going to do it, mate. Hopefully, get you back in the booth when you're in the UK. Thanks a lot for coming on and bringing the absolute weaponry. And hopefully, we can unlock that Gringotts Vault one day.
Thanks for having me, mate.
All the best. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.